Have you ever wondered if there's like a timeless blueprint for mastering your own behavior? I'm not talking about just a list of do's and don'ts, but a real fundamental operating system for yourself. Well, let's dive into this because it turns out ancient wisdom offers exactly that. It's a framework for achieving true discipline and, real inner harmony. So, this quote right here, wow, it's from ancient Vedic thought, and it really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. It tells us that our conduct, our achar, it isn't just about trying to be a good person. No, it's the supreme principle. It's the absolute foundation of a righteous and orderly life, what's known as dharma. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the foundation of right conduct. Then we'll get into the three layers of our being. After that, it's all about mastering your inner world, then guarding your senses, and finally, right action and right speech. And we'll see how it all comes together in the harmony of dharma. Let's get started. So, what does right conduct actually mean anyway? The Sadatara Bodhini tells us that it's not just about, doing good things. It's way more nuanced. Think of it like a two-sided coin. It's a balance between what you have to do and what you absolutely must not do. And here are those two sides. On the one hand, you've got vidhi, which are the prescriptions. These are the positive things we're supposed to do. Things like charity and being truthful. But on the other hand, you have nisheda. Those are the prohibitions, the things we have to consciously stay away from, like theft or falsehood. Okay, now here's a really key insight from the text, so listen up. True righteous conduct. It's not just about action, it's also about intentionally not doing something wrong. Consciously choosing not to harm someone or not to lie. That choice, in and of itself, is a super powerful and virtuous act. It's like a discipline of inaction, which is a fascinating idea. And this idea leads us straight to the core of the whole framework. The text gives us this brilliant model for understanding ourselves. It really is like an operating system for our conduct. And it's all broken down into three separate but totally interconnected layers. So, what are these three layers? First up is Mānasa, the conduct of the mind. Think of this as your internal processing, your thoughts, your intentions. Then you've got Jnanendriya, the conduct of your senses. This is how you perceive the world. Your sight, hearing, all that. These are basically your data inputs. And finally, there's karmendriya, the conduct of action. This is what you put out into the world, your speech, your physical actions. These are your outputs. And get this, true mastery means you have to purify all three. All right, let's start at the very root of it all. The first and most fundamental layer, the mind. Because according to this wisdom, all conduct, good or bad, starts right here, in that unseen world inside our heads. And the text is super clear about this. It warns us that even just thinking about hurting someone else, what it calls malicious intent, is considered a great sin. So that teaches us something huge, right? Righteous conduct isn't just about what you do. It starts way before that, with cleaning up your own internal state. And the text uses some seriously powerful imagery to drive this home. Just look at how it describes jealousy. It's not just some bad feeling. It's a force that literally dries up the vitality of the body. Wow. It's like a fire that just consumes you from the inside out. It's a completely self-destructive act. The warning about anger is just as intense. It says that letting anger take root in your mind, even for a second, is like a fire that just burns away every single good quality you have. Think about that. One uncontrolled thought can literally cancel out all your other virtues. Okay, so from the mind, let's move on to the second layer, the conduct of our senses. If your mind is the processor, then your senses are the inputs. And mastering this layer, well, it's all about consciously curating the reality you let into your system. The text advises us to develop a straightforward and honest eye, basically to see things as they really are, without projecting all our own stuff, our biases, our desires onto them. And this clarity of perception, this unbiased way of seeing, is called the very foundation of trust, which makes total sense, right? We trust people who we feel see the world and see us clearly and honestly. And it's not just about what you see, it's also about what you hear. The text gives this incredibly practical advice for the discipline of hearing: don't listen to slander. Simple enough, but then it goes a step further. It says, if you're in a place where people are gossiping and slandering others, the wisest thing to do is just get up and leave. It's all about actively protecting your mind from those toxic inputs. And that brings us to the third and final layer. This is where our inner world, our thoughts and perceptions, actually gets expressed out in the real world. This is the conduct of our actions and our speech, the output of our whole internal system. And wow, does the text put a huge emphasis on truthfulness. It gives this really stark warning. Falsehood destroys all merit. It's called the highest form of sin. And not just because lying is bad, but because it corrupts the very tool we use to build our reality with other people, our words. The text also gets super practical with examples of physical conduct. For instance, it gives this very specific instruction. You must never, ever strike another being with your feet. And why is that? Because it's seen as the absolute gravest form of dishonor and insult. It's a perfect example of how our physical actions can be a tool for either deep respect or profound disrespect. So the big question is, how do we bring all three of these layers, mind, senses, and action, into perfect harmony? Well, this is where the Satachara Bodhini reveals the ultimate principle. It's this crucial hierarchy for mastering our conduct, and it boils down to a simple philosophy: being before doing. And here it is. This is the point that ties everything together. The text explains that avoiding harm, remember the prohibitions, is all rooted in our inner qualities. But doing good, the prescriptions, that gets expressed through our actions. So it's the key? The key is to work on the inner stuff first. Cultivate virtues like self-control and clarity on the inside. Because when your inner state is pure, then the right actions, both doing good and not doing harm, they just follow naturally, almost effortlessly. So let's just sum this whole thing up. First, right conduct is supreme, and it includes both what you do and what you intentionally choose not to do. Second, true discipline is a whole three-part system. You have to master your mind, your senses, and your actions. And third, and this is the big one, the ultimate secret isn't just to control what you do, it's to purify who you are. And that really leaves us with one final, powerful question to think about. Just imagine, if your thoughts, your perceptions, and your actions were all in perfect harmony, who would you become?